Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Suited Kings podcast. Today, with my beautiful co-host, Max.
Oh, thanks, Wes.
You know, I'm starting with a different energy today.
Yeah, we're a little laid back. It's later in the day than when we typically record a podcast. You actually look like you didn't just wake up, so that's incredible. This is a first. Your hair's done and like you're kind of dressed up, and
I literally have a t-shirt on. I'm not dressed up, but
okay, well, it's more than it's better than the
kindness.
It's better than the pajamas you usually have on. But anyways, yeah, it's just later in the day when we typically record, and I'm feeling honestly a little laid back compared to usual.
Yeah, so, I get that vibe from you.
And now. I think with that, we should have the perfect episode of laid back content.
Yeah, so today we are doing a little bit different. It's not a study session. We don't have a guest, but I was reading through the questions that some of you have posed in our Discord and just some feedback in general. And we're going to get into a couple things as well as, maybe some talk about the bankroll challenge or what we're doing going forward. But
poker related nonetheless.
Yeah, poker related, just a bunch of poker related talk, really. There's not like one specific topic today. But here's where we're going to start. Kmart in the Discord, in the questions for pod section, he posted this 2 months ago. And
we could just cut that one out.
Well, no, I mean, we were doing all our WSOP stuff. Like,
okay, fair.
And there were a ton of responses in the Discord, so it's not like this question went unanswered.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I have it also pulled up here. I do see a lot of answers. I think a handful of answers. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the question is, I've just started to commit to trying to improve my tournament game. Biggest issue is bankroll.
Don't worry, you're not the only one. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, and this is like basically I'm gonna summarize it here, but doesn't want to commit significant resources to it. This is a player who is a amateur and is wanting to basically play micro stakes online, doesn't have,
but he wants to do it correct to kind of, it sounds like, get beyond that stage.
Yeah. And so his questions basically are, what is a good ratio of playing versus studying to maximize the learning curve?
While having a full-time job.
Right, while having a full-time job. How many hours or how many tournaments do people play each week, live or online? And then also just how to kind of manage the whole bankroll situation when you want to commit a little money to it, but you're not going to be going and firing 500s. It might be more like playing the micro stakes cash or some $5 to $11 tournaments online, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, let me go ahead and start off by answering the first part of that question, regarding like should you play in terms of studying versus playing versus studying. I think it's going to vary per person. I mean, there can be maybe a good baseline, which we'll touch on here. But yeah, I think that every single person, I mean, I know people who, they play and don't study and kill it. And people who study way more and don't play as much and they kill it as well. So it just kind of depends on what works best for you. But I guess we can dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer because there's really not a definitive correct answer. A couple thoughts that I have are, one, make sure you, in terms of studying, I would say like ask people around you, study your own game as much as you study what might be the right play, because like you want to review, whether it's live or online, review a bunch of your own hands and get feedback from players whose opinions you respect. A couple things that really helped me at this point, 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was really like I had friends who I knew were better at poker than me. Or even if I could think at the same level as them, that didn't always mean it was transitioning into my own game.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in the heat of the moment in a game, we make these plays that maybe are more based on the emotions we're feeling, or just aren't recognizing that we're in this certain spot we studied. Like, our habits aren't always representative of what we are learning on paper, right? So I think there's 2 types of ways to improve your game. There's improving your knowledge and then improving your execution, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I 100% agree with that, and I will say, like, I think it's easier when when you have a when you have when you got the poker itch, we'll call it, the love, the passion for the game, the studying and effort will come naturally. You'll wanna do that stuff, and then playing to execute it. Like, you gotta actively think about it and practice it because it probably won't come out. I mean, you can study all these spots, but repeating man, how do I articulate this? Anyways, yeah, you just want to keep trying different things as well while you're in it, but being open-minded to that you're not, not always just making the right decisions. I feel
yeah,
like I just spoke out of my ass there, but yeah.
we kind of both are, like, I don't we're sort of answering these in real time in a
Yeah.
way. I would s yeah, I don't have a ratio in terms of how much time you should spend. I think if you're gonna use, like, the 4 to 1, the 80-20 rule, that makes sense,
I
where
yeah.
maybe, like, early on, study 80 and play 20, and then for me or a lot of people who are playing very seriously, maybe it should be 80% play, 20% study.
That's how it was for me, Wes. Like, when I first got really into I played poker for a long time before I started studying, but when I first started taking it serious, like in the earlier 2010s, I was reading all of the books. I was watching all of the plays and dissecting it online. There's only a few poker streamers at that time, like Jason Somerville and just a couple handful of others kind of pioneering online. But I would just digest that content and listen to them. And now, as I've played poker for well over a decade, I find myself less interested and invested in that side of things. I'm not saying this is a good thing, by the way, but I've definitely flopped on my
Right.
studying versus playing. Like flip
I
flopped, I should say, not flopped, but flip flopped.
Yeah. Yeah, flip-flop. I relate to that too. I mean, when I was younger, I would watch high stakes poker videos, Poker After Dark, Million Dollar Cash Game, all these like high stakes cash games where I think if we look back, a lot of the play wasn't even that good, but there was a lot of good stuff to it,
Yeah.
especially by the top pros like Dwan, Ivy, Antonius. And then in terms of tournaments, I watched some once they started streaming the whole final table of the main event, I watched a lot of those and gained a lot of tournament knowledge from there. Um, Same even in like 2017, 18, once they started streaming the whole main event, I watched a lot of those, a lot of that coverage and just saw in real time what the play looked like. And yeah, I would say it's pretty relatable. Um, then once I started taking it more seriously and trying to get better, that's when I got into the solver or at least solver adjacent studying
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, well, why, the why. I'm trying to figure out the why and a different way of looking at everything. So, yeah, and I think like on one hand, we can say it depends on what your goals are for poker. But I also think anyone who takes poker, who is asking these questions already takes poker seriously enough to the point where they're trying to win. They're not playing just for fun. They clearly have fun with the game, but they're wanting to, even if it's not at the high stakes, they're wanting to do it in a way that's like profitable and at least, even if it's not, to make money, they want to be making money so that they feel like their hobby is like
Yeah. Well, I mean, to
they're
some people, that could be just making enough money to, take themselves out to dinner a couple times a month or something like that.
of course. Of course, yeah. And so it's not necessarily about going pro or anything, but I think anyone who's asking the question of all of these questions is taking it seriously enough. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it depends on what your end game goal is, right? Like, what do you want to get out of poker in terms of? And I guess this kind of relates back to studying versus playing. Like, if you have a full time job and you don't expect to try and like, you're not really trying to truly improve your game, but you want to jump in and just have fun. I mean, you should always try and improve your game to some extent, but I mean, there's always room for improvement. That's how you're gonna get better. But
I guess I'll share a little bit about, right when I was out of college and didn't have much money. I was in kind of a similar boat. I made a bunch of like, 100 or $200 deposits in online poker sites, and sometimes I would spin it up a bit, sometimes it would be gone.
I
I found
relate.
myself even when I spun it up, I found myself moving up in stakes too quickly, and then I would like after a couple bad sessions, I would sort of cash out what was left because I wanted to at least get a small profit out of that deposit. And I, I knew kind of deep down, I'm like, okay, this isn't the way. This isn't the best way for me to go about this. Like, I'm not just gonna suddenly have some winning sessions at 1-2 cash and be able to just play 2-5 and 5-10 or whatever the stakes were at the time. Yeah, I would say studying, at this point, when you're at that point of, like, maybe it's $100 a month or 100 a week, whatever you're kind of dedicating to that bankroll, it's clearly not the dollar amount is not going to be enough to, like, get you into a lot of live games or a lot of stuff where you can win substantial money, and so I would be focusing on maybe playing a lot of hands, but then reviewing them, running them past friends, running them through a
Discord.
solver. Discord, yep, and you can absolutely use our Discord group for that.
And that's free of
And then
charge. Like if you really want to improve your game, it's you just sign up to our Discord. It's free. Just hop in there.
sign up exactly, sign up to the Discord. And I'll actually also plug my Twitch here. I mentioned this on in the Discord the other day, but I'm open to just the free coaching aspect. Obviously, I'm focused on my games, but there'll be people in the chat who just ask me questions, and I'm more than happy to just answer it. And I have fun doing so. It actually keeps my mind kind of engaged in a way.
Yeah, by the way, the new stream, you got a new laptop and stuff. Everything is sounding nice and looking nice.
Good,
By the
good.
way, how did yesterday go? So we're
Yesterday was
recording this on
interesting.
Monday, Monday evening. Yesterday, the Sunday grind, and Wes had I don't know. Do we want to call it a roller coaster?
Yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster. It was, I mean, basically what it was I just bricked every single tournament until the last one, and I min cashed the last one essentially on 4 bullets, and so I didn't profit on a single tournament on the day. I had 29 bullets and 1 cash that was for less than 2 buy-ins.
Damn, you fired away. Damn, one cash up 20. It's not it's funny, guys. Like take that into like just actually consider that for a moment. It doesn't matter like how good you are. You can just go on streaks. I mean, Wes is obviously a very, very solid and fundamental player, but like you can have a day of firing 29 bullets and just have one cash. It can happen. And it happens to the best players in the world. If any of you listen to our episode with Josh Reichard, I think he said his record was something like I don't remember.
52,
It
I
was
wanna
like
say.
50 in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like it happens to the best in the world. So if you find yourself on a down streak, like, and a lot of these people might, just play 7 tournaments, not have a cash and feel like they're on a downswing. It's like, listen, it can get even worse than that. It's a tough game we play, but keep it into perspective. And yeah, I think you'll have swings both ways. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that isn't even I mean, in the first couple bankroll streams before that one, the first couple after the WSOP, like, over these 3 streams, I've had 4 cashes in tournaments, nothing big, and that's gotta be, like, over 50. So, like, and the tournament downswing has been yeah, like yeah, it's bigger than just the 29 bullets, but, like, 29 bullets and 1 min cash is pretty brutal for a day.
in just
That
one
being
day, yeah.
said, I still had a winning session because I won. I lost a little over 2,600 in tournaments, and then made a little over 3K in cash. Um, so at the same time, it just wasn't
Tell
a
us a
big
little bit
deal.
about the cash run up to save the day. Was that something that um, was that like from one table, or were you playing that while you're playing
No,
tournaments the entire day?
I had cash going the whole day too, pretty much. And towards the end, like there was with the last 1 or 2 tournaments going, I had 4 or 5 cash tables. And this was I put in a 12-hour session.
Okay,
And
okay.
at the end of the day, there was several hours, at least 2 hours, where I was just playing 6 or 7 tables of cash. And so it wasn't like a big run up. Like a couple days ago, I had the one on Club WPT where I just had the one table where I won like 3 grand. This was not that. This was just a grind where I felt like I played well, and I don't, to win 3K in a day, you have to still run well.
Yeah,
But
for
it
sure.
wasn't like I was just sun run. I don't think anyone watching was like, "Oh, what a sun run that was."
What site do you find is the most profitable or the easiest to win on for cash right now?
It's probably, I mean, it's all the sweeps coins ones, right? Clubs, Club WPT, and Global. I don't play cash on the other 3 really. Um,
I
I
think Club WPT really introduced. I mean, sweeps coins have been around now for probably what 6 years or maybe something like that.
8, I think,
Eight
yeah.
years, yeah. And I think now that WPT's entered the sweeps coin market, it's just brought in a whole new flood of people, which is
Yeah, so I
great.
would yeah. I would say Club WPT is the most profitable slightly. I would say Clubs is clearly after that, and then Global is the toughest of the 3.
Yeah,
That being
Club
said, yeah,
Global has a bunch of regs in the cash game streets for sure, especially in like
yeah,
2 5 and above. Well, I
yeah,
mean, you got regs in all of them, but
yeah, there are regs in all of them, but yeah, you're right that it's Global's the toughest. That being said, yesterday I actually lost on WPT and won on the other 2. Like, Global was my best for cash yesterday, so there will be results kinda all over the place, but I do think moving forward, and I'm not saying like I'm quitting tournaments or anything, but I will be at least experimenting with, for a little while on my streams. I'll be doing much more many more cash game tables and less tournaments. Not to say I'll probably find a few good value tournaments to play, but
well, I think, yeah, I mean, stick with playing the strong, the big value tournaments, but also like, you do this for a living, so it's understandable that you're going to do what's going to make you the most money. You're going to dodge a lot of variance by playing more cash games, but I think still shot taking in some of those big guaranteed ones while playing
yeah,
some cash is going to be beneficial for you.
I agree. And I think, and I'm gonna kind of carry this back to the topic we were on, where it's like, in terms of poker, part of the game of poker is not on the table. It's figuring out what is most profitable for you and what works best with your life, just big picture, right? And that can mean,
That was well said. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
thank you. It was like, it's like your work schedule, maybe your family life, if that's in the picture. It can be your bankroll, it can be how many hours you're looking to play, your level of passion for the game, right? Like, how much time do you want to
Yeah.
dedicate to it?
And it will change throughout your playing career, we'll call it. Like you'll be more passionate, you'll play more. You'll your hunger will fade a little bit. You'll go through swings. It's a wavelength essentially, that you'll want to grind more some days, you'll want to grind less other days. But you'll want to grind less as you go on these big down swings, which is inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I know, like, a lot of people know in 2023, I had a terrific year with live tournaments, not just WSOP, but just in general.
Oh,
Last year, 24, it was bad. Like, my biggest live cash was $4,600.
yeah, yeah.
It's like
And when you're
crazy.
playing $1,100 tournaments, that's, I mean, don't get you cashed a lot of tournaments, but yeah, I mean, to not have anything over 4 buy-ins and like $1,100 is
Yeah,
just,
and that was in a 1,700 too.
yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
was, I don't think I cashed. Oh, no, I did have a final table in a 400 for like 2,800, but
But that came from a year. I mean, that's a year after you had a 210K score, 90K plus whatever from
yeah.
and I mean, yeah. So you had almost a 400K year the year before that or whatever. So
Yeah, I did actually get over 400K in earnings. That single, like, more than half of my Hendon mob is from 2023 alone, which is crazy. And so I think it's easy to look from the outside and be like, "Oh, Wes has had this tournament success," which is true, but, like, the last year and a half for me has been, pretty rough. This year actually has not been too bad. I've had some decent runs. There's not, like, a huge score, but, now recently the online tournaments, and the last year actually was decent online. It was fine. But yeah, I've, like you said, that passion, it's been dwindling in terms of tournaments for me because I just, feel like I'm getting slapped in the face over and over, and
And
like,
and I I
Max
hope
is supposed
I
to
hope
get
that
us to
doesn't
tournaments.
I hope that doesn't deter our listeners. Like, if Wes, obviously hasn't had the greatest year and a half in tournaments, but he's done well in cash to cover it. Obviously, he's going to now, because it's his career, adjust to what is making him the most money. And I'm assuming that you'll find that tournament hunger again.
Yeah, there's a good chance I will, and I'm not saying it's completely gone or that I don't still enjoy thinking through the spots. But yeah, I am a professional, and that's where, in terms of my own life, like, I need to I wanna keep doing cash because that's, how I'm paying my bills and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, I understand. I guess, and we're oddly, I'm getting defensive, or not, maybe not defensive is the right not the right word, but like I remember, hearing people that I really looked up to, like the tournament crushers who love poker, talk about how their love for tournaments fade or whatever. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, no, don't say it so. Like, we're
Yeah.
grinders. I love this game so much. I don't ever want to have to, like, don't do it. You know what I mean? And, but
Yeah.
as you get into poker, you see, like, yeah, things are up and things are down. And your passion comes and it goes. And I mean, shout out to the people who are just, I mean, there's people out there that are just hungry all the time and just don't, it's gas, foot, what's the saying? I don't
Their
know. All
foot's
gas, no
always on
brakes,
the
we'll say.
gas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But um, yeah.
pedal to
And
the metal.
yeah. So,
Uh,
anyways, yeah, just it'll go up and down. So whether you're, an amateur, I guess it's the professionals who will experience that more than the amateurs just because of the amount of volume that they're putting in. Like, anything kind of needs to be done in regulation to some extent, or you will burn out.
Definitely, and I think taking it back to people who are more the amateur recreational player, like, I've had people sometimes who I'm coaching, talk about how they played, they don't know what's going on, right? They don't know if they're just they feel like they keep getting unlucky in these tournaments, and I guess I look at it and I'm like, "You've played maybe 15 tournaments this year, like." Oh, now, of course, everybody's game always has stuff that can improve, so it's not like, regardless of what factor luck plays, we can always find some stuff to work on, but 15 tournaments is not a sample size. Like, I had double that almost yesterday,
Just
right?
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, v 15 tournaments or 20 or even 50 or 100 really is gonna tell you so little about the type of player you are, and so it's best to almost just, like, ignore that and keep working at it as long as you have that desire to do so, right? Ignore the results, play within whatever financial constraints are reasonable for you, but just separate the studying with what your results are, you know?
What do you
Um,
suggest someone starting off, like has no experience studying? Top three most important ones to start off, like ways to start learning and building a foundation to then improve your game from.
yeah, I would say one, just talking to people who are successful poker players within the framework of the games you play, right? So I'm not saying yes, it's good to hear from the high rollers and stuff, but I don't think their knowledge is going to, unless they're talking about back when they started, but I don't think it's gonna apply as much to where everyone's at right now. I think talk to someone who's maybe has the results now that you're looking to have within a year or 2. Like, if you back when I was maybe breaking even, I had a buddy who he would crush the survivors at Canterbury to 100 cash at Canterbury, and so I talked a lot of hands with him, got a lot of very good insight.
Okay.
I would say if you're someone who's, playing $5 to $11 tournaments online, talk to someone who maybe was playing those a while ago, but successfully, is now playing the 55s and 110s and stuff, and they're doing at least pretty well at those. Talk to people who are where you can see yourself being.
That have recently traveled the path in front of you.
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, if you talk to me, I might look at it from the perspective of
You're an idiot.
I might look at it from his perspective of, well, this is what I would do in like a live 1100 or a 218 online. I might not necessarily know what's best against the player pool in the $11 fields and stuff. I'll do my best for sure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Let me
that's
ask you, do you plan on playing any live cash ever? I know you've been you've been playing online cash, you've been slapping it, but do you have any desire to play live cash at all?
it's yes and no, and it really
You
like I
played maybe a
sometimes
couple
do.
sessions in Vegas, right?
I did. That's right. Um, it's the one thing I don't like about it. And keep in mind, I used to play a lot of home games around here and do quite well in them, but like it's how slow they are. And not even just from a like enjoyment standpoint, but the amount of hands I can get in. Like I want to see I have not really just sat down and only done cash in a while. I always have the tournaments going, but I and part of what I'm going to do with the stream coming up here is I do want to see, let's say I have 6 or 7 tables of 1-2 and 2-5 up, or 1-2-4 on Club WPT. Like on these sweepstakes sites, if I just grind, like what is my hourly win rate look like on here if I'm playing these low to mid stakes cash 6 or 7 tables for, you know, several long sessions per week? Like what does my win rate look like with that? And so I would say TBD to your question.
Okay. Do you track your time played each session on top of your buy-ins and stuff?
Yes. So, well, luckily for me, so I historically no, actually, but luckily Twitch does that for me.
Okay. Yeah.
um,
That's a
and
good point.
I've gotten better about my tracking in terms of online play. I used to kind of just say, okay, I won or lost this much on this site, etc. Now I'm differentiating between cash and tournaments, and I'm doing it by, every single tournament buy in. Cash is a little tricky because you buy in and you have the auto top up on, and it's not really realistic. So I know how much I won or lost in cash on each site in a given day, but not at each different stake,
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, you keep the overall number, but you don't. I mean, there's probably something to be said about keeping all those details. I mean, and you are kind of that detailed oriented person. I
I would,
Go
not
ahead.
to shit on myself, but I can get quite distracted too. Sometimes I let those things slide and have
No,
to,
for sure. No,
yeah.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see that you are slightly human. Um, and also, I think something I want to mention to listeners, specifically people who are kind of wanting to start taking poker more seriously. One of the best things I ever did was actually started tracking my online and
Yes.
live. Just make sure to write down every buy-in, and then every result. You know what I mean? And at the end of the year, see how much you're truly up and how much you're truly down. And if you want to, you can add time to the end of each session so you know what your actual hourly is on top of that. But just start off. I mean, if you don't want it to get too complicated, I think even for recreational players, it's super important to track all of your games.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Um, I will say my results actually, they had already been pretty, like, I'd already become a winning player, at least in like the live games, and I was probably not in tournaments yet, but when things really started moving in the right direction, when I got my own apartment, my rent was higher and I started taking things more seriously. I was like, okay, I need to track things more, and then suddenly like I was just winning more consistently in poker. And I think there is sort of a when you can see the accumulation of the results, you have a little bit more peace of mind if you're like have the losing sessions, and but also it keeps you in line more because I think what can happen with people who don't track the results is like you kind of have a bias sometimes where you remember the wins more than the losses, and you're like, I'm even, maybe up, maybe down, and in reality, someone could have blown through 5 grand in a year and not
And they
really.
have, yeah, and they have but their recency bias or whatever we want to say, well, from their wins, then they're not. compared to their losses, yeah, they'll think they're a winning player still. It's
Yep.
just super important, yeah. And I think that that's a good way to use to set a benchmark for where to improve. Like this is where I'm. This is specifically in cash, more in tournaments because where there's less variance. But like I earned this much and I spent this much time. Well, now I'm going to try and earn this much, and I'm saying it's just a good way for you, a good point for you to have a visualization of how where you can improve yourself, improve your game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think track and even men, thank you to whoever, God, who even was, I'm going to look now
What are we
in,
looking at?
whoever said it in the last week or so on Discord suggested that yeah, Lloydie in Discord, interested in the breakdown between cash and tournaments. I'm like, yeah, of course that's a great idea. And so I'm doing that now. You'll notice on my updates. And now, obviously, I'm not going to have. It's a bit of an anomaly where I've had a couple great cash sessions and just gotten, blitzed in the tournaments that I've played. That'll change it up. But it is, I think, going forward, it is a good thing to sort of differentiate between, because then I'll be able to look and see, okay, where is it that I'm actually making more money per hour? And I'll share what I've been thinking too recently, just poker as a whole, because I've been a pro almost 4 years and I'm like, man, this tournament downswing it's kind of stressful, not in the sense of like it just, I don't have that. I feel like I'm not flying forward like I used to, right? And I'm like,
Well, you hit. I feel like you had one of the worst things that can happen. Poker happened to you, where like you for second year into your professional career, you just have an incredible year, and then it's easy to kind of at least expect maybe not to surpass that, but to have something, right? And then to
No,
just
you're
like
right. You are completely right. And so here's the thing is I went pro after a big score, but I was in my head, I was like, okay, I know I need to dial in and study because I know I hadn't really been a winning online player before that. So I'm like, I know I need to become a winning online player to do this long term. And so even my first real big score didn't really have that effect, but I kind of agree in 23 I had that. It was really a 4-month stretch where I had these scores, and on the side I was crushing online cash, and it was just all going as perfectly as it could be pretty much. And I did sort of relax in a way. And not even like I took my foot off the gas, but I sort of continued to study as hard. And I also was like a little more lackadaisical in the stakes I would play. Like overall, I was smart with what I did with my money, but I also would just maybe plan like yes, I'll play high stakes cash online, but I don't think I should be playing in games where it's just a reg battle with a bunch of the top pros, right? Like that.
and just have an ego battle.
Exactly. Like the ego battling. I had a little bit of that.
Except for if it's against me, we can have an ego battle.
Well, we can. I mean, I think I'm all for the ego battle, but don't do it at the high stakes where if you lose just a few buy-ins, you're like, "Oh god, that hurt."
100%, yeah.
I think if you and I battle for, NL 50 or 100, I think that's
Oh,
perfectly
we
reasonable.
battled at a lot of
At
NL50.
1, 2, yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of just want to, Wes, I just want us to have a three match sit and go
We
format,
we actually
$1,000
should do
buy-in
that.
game.
We should try and organize it where we have a couple table like, the Negreanu Polk matchup. Maybe
Oh,
we don't have to
that
do
was
as many
just one.
hits.
I wonder if does everybody remember that? I hope so because that was one of the most epic things. And I just remember Daniel melting down because he's like, Doug's running so above EV, like every big spot is just going his way.
Yeah,
And
welcome
Dan,
to your future, buddy. If we
yeah.
if we play this match, it's gonna be you.
Oh, is that where we're going with this? Okay. We'll see. I mean, you know what? I should clip these sound bites of you as saying this stuff and then just post it next to me celebrating the win.
Yeah,
That would be
I'm looking forward to it. Um, I wanted to finish that thought real quick.
yeah.
Um, so I sort of have been thinking related thoughts to this recently. I'm like, okay, the whole reason I'm doing poker professionally, it was never about like, oh, I need to be the best tournament player in the world or whatever. The number one thing is like I love the game and it gives me a ton of freedom. And, if I can make as much or more in poker as I was at my job beforehand, like that's good enough for me. Obviously, I would love to have these big scores and whatnot, but like baseline, if I can come at poker from the mindset of that's my number one objective is to just like do it professionally and then everything else is like icing on the cake. I think that having that mindset early in my career really helped me a lot. And right now I'm kind of like, okay, I can just do that. Like I can just do that with my own,
Yeah.
I don't need to have these big scores. I'll still try sometimes, but like I can grind cash and just, I think
You're really going through the motions though, Wes. You know what I mean? Like, and one thing I want to mention to listeners who aren't already aware, I think most people are, is like you were set up for success for poker. And what I mean by that is like your parents, I don't know if your parents got you into things, but they taught you at a very young early age, like chess, for example. Like
yeah,
you learned how to think very deeply about
analytically.
lots of different
Oh, yeah.
problems. Yeah, you're just
Sure,
able
yeah.
to be analytical, and I think that really, learning that at the very young age where you were doing it a lot, and like now as your brain developed and you got older, like you're just a very analytical human being now. So I think again that that alone sets you up for success in poker in the poker world.
I agree. I think that's
So
true.
thanks, Mama and Daddy Cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah. I mean, chess was like my childhood. It
Yeah.
was
Let me
crazy.
ask you, what do you think is the most, just kind of going off here, what do you think is what would relate poker and chess? What do you think is the most common denominator between the two?
Thinking ahead.
Ooh,
I
that's
think
a good one. I
thinking
like that.
ahead.
You had
Yeah,
that one ready. I like that.
yeah. And that and also crazy long hours because when I went to, like, national chess tournaments, it could be it was 7 matches over 3 days, and each match could last up to 4 hours. In reality, some were, like, 2 or 3, but, like, I would play 20 to 25 hours of chess over 3 days and just love it. I'd
Yeah.
still wanna play after.
Did you did you win a lot at that age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not necessarily I didn't necessarily, like, go crush nationals at the highest level, but the school association tournaments where I was playing kids roughly my age around Minnesota,
Hmm.
I have a lot of first place trophies to show from
That's sick.
those.
I saw you have a
I
newspaper clipping even.
Yeah, from when I was 6. I should
From
share
when
that
you
in
were
the
6,
Discord.
that's insane.
Yeah,
Like, when I was 6, I think I was playing Super Mario Kart on my Super Nintendo. Um,
yeah.
you were sitting there playing in chess tournaments across the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to a couple times I won state for my age group. Um I would never say I was actually the best in state for my age, but maybe a couple players didn't play the tournament or maybe I
Did
just
you was, like, chess your, like, number 1?
yeah, when I was young, I would say it was. Um,
What
and then
happened along the
base
way?
yeah, baseball was another one where I was a good baseball player, but as I got into high school, I kept getting better and better at pitching, and then I think my batting and my fielding kind of plateaued, and I think I was always best. It's funny because at a lot of things, you're supposed to be a team player, but I think I did better at the individual stuff in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I understand. I actually kind of relate with that in a sense. I've always been better at solo-oriented games.
yeah, I mean, you have golf, you have bowling, you
Yeah,
have
bowling's a little bit of a team sport.
snowboarding.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, snow I've done
Bowling
snow
can be team, but you're doing your individual.
Right. No, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Right. Yeah. 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 The scoring is team related, but the actual bowling itself. No, I got, yeah, I got my buddy, has his other two fingers in the ball. Okay. This is sounding weird. So let's just move on. We're going to retract that
I mean, it
statement.
just escalated so you could have just once you made the comment, there's no going back, but
Oh, this is making the cut. We gotta leave that in.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I was curious, and I think I wish that I had um, those types of things instilled into me as a kid that helped me be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I find myself very analytical and all that stuff, but you are very disciplined with your analytical, where I'm a little bit more like gambly.
That's fair, but I also, like, there's a side that people don't necessarily see as much. Like, I can still relate to it. It might like, if you put our gambliness side by side, you might
I think
be
that's why
like,
we complement each other, though.
"Yeah." But there are instances where it would be do as I say, not as I do, right? Like, I've
Oh,
it's
yeah. Amen. Amen.
yeah. Um,
That should be the name of
yeah,
our podcast, honestly.
do as I say, not that's a really good podcast name. I hope no one steals it just in case we wanna start, like, a side podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to edit that part out so no one steals it.
Yeah. I
No,
had
that
one
would.
more idea.
What's that?
Um, in terms of this question, I had one more idea, and it's a little bit different than the actual question, but if you are looking to turn poker into something and, this person, I don't know what the goals are exactly, but if your goal is to, like, be a winning player, but also increase the stakes you're playing, if you're, putting 1 or 200 bucks into your bankroll per month, that probably won't be enough to balloon it into playing higher stakes stuff. So another thing you can do is just, like, find a way in your budget to, like, carve out a few $100 more per month, and everyone has their own situation, like, that's
I th-
I don't
I I think with online it makes budgeting a lot easier as well. Like, 'cause there's so many smaller tournaments where you can get your feet wet and dabble without having to risk a lot more money. I understand that's not ideal for everybody. I prefer live poker over online poker in terms of enjoyment. However, when it
Mhm,
comes to efficiency, by far prefer um, when it comes to efficiency, I by far prefer online poker because I'm at home. I don't have to drive anywhere. I win more frequently. There's more tournaments to be played. Yeah, all of the above.
mhm,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm totally, I
It's
agree
funny
with
because
that.
I hated people back in the day for that. I was just yeah. I was just
Yeah, oh, I prefer live, and live poker is softer too,
yeah.
especially if you compare stake by stake, like, the 1-2 live cash games, there just aren't pros playing that, whereas 1-2 online, you'll get some really good players sometimes playing that.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. What's that one guy's name? I love that's a 200 no limit nerd.
Connor,
Connor.
unbel he's always he's
You just you name dropped him
oh, yeah,
immediately,
well,
bro.
'cause he always had aces against you.
I know. We haven't talked about that guy forever, and you just pinpointed him. This
Yeah,
guy. Oh my god. It's
and I
funny.
actually I
You
don't
always
play with
called him a fish. I hope he listens to this podcast. I
yeah,
have no idea, but
I'd say
probably
he's,
not.
like, a decent player. He was playing those stakes back, like, when I was saying 6, 7 years ago, he was playing 1-2, and
And
he
still
plays
playing one
mostly
two.
1-2, some 2-5, like, I think he's a decent player, I think he's
No, I agree. I mean, I think he's a good player, and I think he's kind of established his own style. I mean, we're talking about someone no one knows anything about, but this
yeah,
is a guy that I've played online with, and Wes has played online with, and I bitched about him for a while because I kept running into it against him, but I haven't played with him for a long time now. So
yeah, he's still around,
yeah,
but
how have you been playing the Goat series on Global?
yeah, yeah, I have, pretty much just been bricks, except last Sunday I did get 5th in the 99 50K for, like, 2,700, which
Okay.
ironically that day I still had a losing day because that was my oh my god, that's 2 Sundays that was my only cash last Sunday. That's 2 Sundays in a row with
That's
only
brutal.
1,
That's
to
absolutely
be
brutal.
fair though, last Sunday, it was not so much that I was firing everything all day, like, I actually ended my session early. It was more so that, I was not doing the bankroll challenge, so I fired some, like I played a 500, I played, you know
Yeah.
anyways, I had a small losing session that day, but other than that, I don't even know, maybe another cash, but that was the only deep run. What about you? I know you had a final table
Yeah,
at
I've
some
actually had a
point.
few final tables. So right now, Global's holding one of their series. It's the goat. So each series is kind of well, they're not. There's like four different animals. There's the goat, the grizzly, the eagle, and then the what's the other one? What am I missing? The snake. The one you got. You got a
Oh,
snake.
rattlesnake, yeah.
The rattlesnake. So, but yeah, when you win one of these events, not only do you get a trophy, but you usually win a nice little chunk of change. But they also have leaderboards. So, like for the series, like whoever does the best, you get points for cashing. Right now on this in the goat series, I have not won a goat yet, but I'm in like 24th place out of probably if I have a couple thousand, I would guess, something like
Yeah.
that. So, like
Man, I'm
I'm
glad you didn't do that side bet.
yeah, I know. I've been grinding them for sure and just having fun. I've had a ton of deep runs. I got fifth in one last night. It was the it was the no limit crazy pineapple.
Oh, wow, you played the
I
pineapple?
I did, yeah, yeah. Um
I have that filtered out on there.
I cracked two dudes had aces uh and I cracked them both in one
Nice.
hand.
Nice. Well, it's easier to do when they both have them, because then they
Yeah.
can't hit set,
That's
so
true. That's true. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I like I don't ever really play it. They so every weekend I think they throw in like one weird style tournament in there. Um, the ones I'll tell you which ones I don't like or enjoy playing at all, and I just fully skip is the anti-up tournaments.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know
How does that
yeah,
work? You start with like
the
I,
blinds stay the same,
yeah,
so the
it's like
antes
20
keep
50
going.
throughout the whole thing, but the antes increase, right?
Yeah.
It's super weird. It's super weird. Like I asked ChatGPT like the best strategy for playing anti-up tournaments, and it just said be aggressive.
Yeah, well, there's another one too, if you think about it. You should do a lot of limping, because here's how it goes.
Because you're limping 50. Yeah, you're limping one big blind when the ante you're putting in is 50 or something.
Yeah, as the antes go up, you can have, like the ante you can be getting, like,
You're
100 or
always getting the right
500 to
pot
150.
odds to call.
Yeah, like, in theory, there could be a world where there are just a ton of, family pot limped pots pre-flop. And then if someone has the problem is then someone, has a decent hand and wants to raise, but you
Yeah.
can profitably limp any hand, I think.
But one thing I've noticed is people when they do raise, it's usually to like 50 bigs
Yes.
because there's so
Yeah,
much.
I have no idea what the optimal raise size
Yeah.
would be,
The tournaments are
but
stupid. Anyways, I'm not going to start playing them. I played a couple of them. I thought they were absolutely terrible. I'll never play them. I don't enjoy them. So,
I'm just
um,
looking at global here, and tomorrow, to the day the episode comes out, Tuesday, they have the ante up, so,
so you
yeah,
want to know
those are
something funny?
exciting.
While we're recording this podcast, Wes, I max late regged the, the,
What are you playing?
so they have a low, there's a $3 rebuy goat tournament.
$3, you're a
How
disgrace.
many bullets do you think I'm in for so far?
6.
I've been just go. Yeah, I actually lost count, but I'm somewhere around there.
Wow.
Uh, it's yeah, for
And
$3.
that's a trophy event. I
Yeah, and they usually get like $1,000 up top. But yeah, so each night there's a low, a medium, and a high, and then another low tournament. So it's usually the standard one is like it usually goes $11 buy-in, 33 buy-in, 99 buy-in. That
Mhm.
fluctuates depending on if it's a rebuy, if there's add-ons. Um, anyways, yeah. So or whether it's like PLO or PLO 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy these. I have three different global trophies now. I got the Eagle. I got one of the Eagles. I got the U.S. Open crown, and then I also just won the PLO tournament, the Maverick one. So I got three of those. And what do you got? You have three, I think, but two of them never came. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I have the physical rattlesnake here. I'm supposed to have a grizzly and then one of the bounty ones from 2
Oh,
years
you got a
ago.
bounty one too. Yeah. Yeah. So was I telling you about how much I love playing on Club Spoke?
Yeah. Oh, man,
uh,
I mean, I've been grinding cash on there for a lot, and, you know, I
on to
we are
buying
getting
number
back to our
7.
meetup games. We do have the meetup game coming up probably a week from
Tomorrow.
today tomorrow for us, today as you guys are
Yeah.
listening to it.
Speaking of which, our last one was a lot of fun. It was nice coming back from after Vegas and getting everybody back in there into the mix. I don't know, probably around 20 entries, something like that.
Yeah, I know I was chip leading kind of in the middle of it, and then
I
suddenly I
was chip
lose.
leading after the first hand.
Yeah, you tripled up right away. How did that even happen?
It's so funny. We have a listener, Alan. Shout out to him, Alan, Boss Hog in the Discord. But we went all in with some absolute trash very first hand, just gambled it up, and I ended up winning, doubling up. And then the very second hand he rebuys, and he goes, do it again. He opens, and then taunts me in chat and goes, "Do it again." And I'm like, "Fine." So I think I did it with 9. I jammed like 80 bigs with 9 or 10 high after he
Nice.
opened, and he snap called off. He had 7 deuce suited.
Oh, no.
And needless to say, we won that one too. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so if you want to win money, come hop in the come hop in the meetup game because it is soft.
Seriously, if you wanna catch me and Max playing at our absolute worst,
The meetup game is a great place
yeah,
to do that for sure.
and make
Yeah.
sure to register early because I think it's fair to say once we're a little deeper on, we are trying to win the
Oh
tournament.
no, here's the thing is like you and I definitely adapt throughout the tournament. Like we like to get in the mix and kind of one thing it does do as us click at the beginning, I've realized is it gets everybody else kind of spiced up. Everybody else
Yeah,
starts kind of playing a little looser, you know what I mean? It's kind of
yeah,
enjoyable, but
yeah, no, that's totally true.
well, Wes, what other topics or thoughts do you have in mind before we start wrapping up?
Yeah, so we got a lot into that one question, kinda bounced around, but,
Oh, we were all over the place.
we were all over the place. Um, I would say there so a very unrelated question from Boss Hog, Alan Baker.
Oh, we are just talking about him.
Yeah, his question, will the World Series of Poker main event ever raise the buy-in? It's been 10K since 1970. To put that in perspective, $10,000 in 1970 is now equal to about 80,000.
Jesus. That's
It's
actually
crazy to think.
crazy.
It
Um,
is crazy to think that it's like that'd be like playing an 80K right now.
but here's the thing is 10K is still a lot of money. So it was just a lot of money back then, but now it's like it's still, a lot of people don't have 10K. Most people, I would say, don't have 10K to throw in the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I
I
guess
don't think they should increase it, at least not yet. What do you think? And
I
how
think
long
it's
until the
sort of
main
just
event pays out in Bitcoin?
that's I mean, payout in Bitcoin, I don't really get the point because it's like you can always just take money and buy Bitcoin,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they'll just keep it at 10K. I will say I do see the possibility of there being maybe not that tournament, but maybe a different tournament that people come to see as the
The new main event.
championship. Yeah.
I see that
The
happening too. I don't think the main
yeah,
event's gonna hold that crown forever.
because now there is something about it being like, okay, now there's granted it's harder to win when there's 10,000 entries, right? But
Yeah.
there is something a little pure about the idea of a much smaller field tournament where it's uh kind of a big it's who's the best. Like the 50K PPC kind of fits that bill, but it's not just Hold'em. It's all the events. So actually that in a way you could say that is like the 50K Poker Players Championship.
I would
It's
say
not the main,
in
but
terms
it's
of like what's most skillful, yes.
yeah, like who's the most skilled overall, not Hold'em,
It hurts
but
my soul
overall.
to say that that was Michael Mizrachi 4 times, but
Yeah,
he
it's
is.
him, it's,
I love Michael Mizrachi, and I think it goes a long ways to say like what feel and aggression, how big of a role those two factors play in poker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and, I could see something like the what is it, like a 25K, 40 million guaranteed, the Bahamas, I think that's what they do down
Did
there
they
now.
didn't they overlay that?
I think so. I could see that. Maybe not, it doesn't take the place from a nostalgic standpoint as
No.
WSOP
And
main,
don't get
but
me, I think the main is going to be the main for a long time still.
yeah. Well, and I also think the main has it just has the best structure in the world,
And it's a
and
freeze out. Like,
that's the thing that's irreplaceable. Yeah, it's a freeze out for one, and it is a 2 hours per level structure, you
imagine if
know?
the main had like one reentry.
Oh god. That would actually change so much though, because, like, that would make yes, there are a lot of pros that if they busted would rebuy, but it would also maybe discourage some recreationals or even I'll even say myself, like, some non-high stakes pros where it's like, "I'm selling a good chunk of action for this. Do I want" are people gonna be in for 2 bullets for this? Like, if when you're selling action, your crew of people buying action needs to be in for it, and sure, that's easier if I'm selling a small piece at my normal stakes, but, you know, if someone's like, "Okay, I wanna" the main event is its own thing, right? Like, people buy pieces of the main event like they wouldn't do in a different tournament, so would
Yeah.
it change if they had to potentially do that the double the amount, right? Would they put as much money in per person and
Yeah, I mean, let me clarify. I do not ever want that to happen. I am a
agreed.
strong proponent of freeze out tournaments. I love freeze
Mhm.
out tournaments, and I think if you were talking about what's going to be the most skillful, it's going to be. I mean, obviously, variance is still very important in freeze outs, but I think people are just going to do a lot less shot taking, knowing they can rebuy.
Yeah, and
Which is where a lot of
when
people are able to build stacks because they're able to just be relentlessly aggressive until they build up a stack, right?
yeah, I think in general, like, in a way, I wish that every poker tournament was a freeze out, but
For bottom lines, it makes sense.
exactly. The World Series is able to run freeze outs because they have so many other tournaments running. But, we had, like, Brian on, and he talked about MSPT. It's like people are traveling, sometimes driving hours and hours to these tournaments. Like, first off, MSPT just, they need to make money, right? But also, are you and I gonna drive out to Michigan if we could take a cooler an hour into a tournament and just be done for the weekend?
And
Like
we've discussed this, right? Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, especially for traveling, one bullet just doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm glad that we have the options we have. And the truth is, we can now pick and choose to which
mhm.
events we want to play. So, and that is a little more incentivizing being able to go out there and fire more than one bullet into an MSPT when we drove 9 hours to get there. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah, and as for the main event, if you bust that right away, there are tons of other poker tournaments to play there, so it's not like they have that issue. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say ultimately we agree that the WSOP will not raise the buy-in for the main event anytime in the near future, and who knows if
I
ever.
kind of like this format, Wes. You know, it started off a little floaty there at the beginning, but like we found a groove and we're just having a conversation now, and it's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
it's not like a specific topic, so
It's a little relieving. I can just kind of enjoy the conversation more so than trying to think of what's next, et cetera. But let me ask you this: what does the future of 2025 look for you in terms of poker?
so the number one focus for me is gonna be the stream, the bankroll challenge, so, hope to continually see more of you in there. It's weird, I found that more people come into the stream and watch, like, very late at night.
Yeah,
My get highest, like, after midnight.
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I think when people, I mean, it's when a lot of younger people are awake and free, but also like when a lot of like family people are away for their kids are asleep,
Their kids are in bed,
their
yeah.
spouse is asleep or whatever. So, um, yeah, yeah. So, how is you still enjoying the grind online? I mean,
Yeah,
streaming.
Yeah, and I'll be doing it right after we end this,
Okay.
and just be doing some cash. Probably a couple tournaments,
What
but
is your
yeah.
what is your so we just to kind of remind people, we started the bankroll challenge with 10K trying to get to 100K.
Yep. We
What
are
are we at?
33,479, which means I can play, I can't play 5-10 yet. I have to have 40 buy-ins to play a cash game. I have to have 125 to play a tournament. I've also so luckily Twitch tracks the hours. I've streamed something like 360, 370 hours.
That's actually crazy.
And
That's
yeah,
insane.
I enjoy it
But I
and
mean, you would have just played that amount of time anyways, just with not streaming.
exactly. And I mean, I've played off stream. Like there was a 2-month stretch where I didn't stream, right?
I want to
So
be there. I want you to hit like 100 concurrent viewers. That would be sick.
yeah.
And
I
then,
did get a raid once of like 200, but besides that,
did you
uh,
really? Of
yeah,
200?
yeah.
You didn't even tell me that. What?
I don't know, it was a few months ago,
That's awesome.
but
That's super exciting though. Just have all of a sudden have all these people. Do you remember who rated you?
I think it was Sven Calls.
I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so here's a cool way to look at it too. So I can actually I'm gonna pull up and see how much I've streamed. It's something like 370 hours though. I'm gonna do the math, but I think it's something like 60 an hour. Um
You're making so far, you're making about
yeah,
60 an hour.
if I take my profit, if it is 370 hours, um I've been making $63 an hour streaming. Not from the poker, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not
That
from
yeah, not from the Twitch stream, right? I think that's
mhm.
awesome. I got to come and give you do some sub drops here soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we missed you in there.
I've
Um,
been absolutely slammed. I mean, it's summer and there's a lot to do during the summer, whether it's enjoyable or work, both of them. Like, the things I enjoy doing plus work, I mean, golf alone takes up a ton of time, but there's a lot of things that I got going on. So,
oh, totally. Um, yeah, where does it show the total? Anyways, it's like, was it that's 60, 180, 270. Yeah, I've streamed like 380 hours. So yeah, I've made like 60, um, a little over $60 an hour from playing poker while streaming. And I will say,
imagine how much more that would have been if you didn't play tournaments.
that's the thing, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. And also I will say, it might seem like, wow, that's a lot because I have to focus on all the stream stuff too.
Yep.
It's actually I've been doing a lot better while on stream this year than off stream.
I think it helps you focus and dial in. I mean, you not only do you have a lot, you have to kind of be held accountable out of these people watching you, but I think you're talking through it as well as you're doing it, and it just helps you stay dialed in.
It does. It really does.
So that makes sense. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. All right, Wes. Well, it's been a
What
fun
about you? What for last question, so what's your poker
for
plan
the.
for the rest of the year?
I'm going to. I think what I really want to do is take the next, say, I don't know. I don't know. What is it? It's the end of July as we're recording this. I'm willing to bet most of August is going to be just online and probably not too much live, maybe one or two live tournaments in there. And then as we enter September, I plan on rolling down to Iowa for the WSOP circuit
Councils.
down there. Yeah, I've gone down there the last two times with you. Remember when I bombed that hill on my skateboard and you
Yeah.
followed me in the car so I could get a ride back up it? That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, just going out there. I've the last two times I've gone out there and stayed a week or 2 weeks while out there. It's kind of a dumpy town, but I've enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
It is. The first year when you and I got the hotel, we both profited like 25K from that trip.
yeah, we actually did an episode. One of our first episodes we did on that. But yeah, yeah. I final tabled a main. I final tabled another, and then the second time I ended up getting second, almost winning my first ring. To be honest with you, though, like you have two rings, I have zero rings, but I've only played a handful of circuit events. I think I've played 2 horseshoe stops and then 1 Potawatomi stop, and that's it for my circuit play. So I haven't
Yeah.
played too much of those. I still, man, I really wish the WPT would come up to Minnesota.
Yeah. It would be I mean, they get a lot of business up here.
Yeah.
I may actually go on Saturday and fire the last flight of the Rough Riders
I've
events
heard
that's up
up at Jackpot Junction in Minnesota. Yeah, guys,
yeah,
I someone else sent me that too. I think it's like a $680 buy-in.
I think 640 yeah, one
Six
of those, but it's
Yeah.
actually it's a very good structure. Um, it's very similar to MSPT, but it's 60K starting.
Holy
So,
shit.
yeah, it is very good.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. That's a pile of chips, and, you know, I've actually wanted to play an RPT event. I have not played one of those yet. Yeah, they've been around for quite some time now, and it seems like they draw pretty big crowds now too. And they have that. Is this their Jackpot Junction? I think is like a 2-hour drive, so it's not terrible.
I've
Um,
been I that's part of why I didn't wanna go on Friday because 'cause I'm like, "Do I need a hotel or not?"
is
I
that
think I
this
think for me,
weekend?
it's
Is
like
that
a
this
little
weekend?
over yeah, it's this coming weekend. It is it's under a 2-hour drive for me. I mean, I'm a little bit west of you,
Bro, you're 10 minutes away from me.
14 minutes. I've driven to your house a lot.
Traffic.
14 exactly.
When you drive as slow as your grandpa ass does.
Okay. Oh, I'm the grandpa here, okay.
You're an old soul. Shut up. Um, yeah, no, I have an open house this Sunday, so I will not be able to do that. But yeah, by the way, if you guys want to buy or sell your home right now, holler at your boy. I will gladly help you buy or sell a home right now. It's been absolutely slammed. The market's finally cooling off a little bit. So if you're a buyer looking to get into your first home, you're not going to be hitting much. Listen to me just plug real estate, but you're not going to be hitting many, multiple offer scenarios. Yeah, and I'm the type of agent where my phone's on 24/7 for you. So holler at me if you want to get some real estate done. And yeah, or if you hit a big score and want to invest in real estate, also your guy for that
Yeah.
too. But real estate holds
Or
money,
if you
bro.
wanna play him heads up too.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. Wes, we're gonna finalize some details. Let's get this going on clubs poker. But
We
yeah.
should
Anyway,
we should see if they can do just heads up tables. That would
yeah.
be awesome.
We'll double check with them. Run it by our guy and get back to me. I'll leave that one up to you,
I
unless you're
will.
scared.
Oh, I would love nothing more.
All right, brother. Well, hope you enjoy the rest of your night. We will see everyone back here for another episode 2 days from now.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
a week.
I love it, dude. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll see you guys then for a another episode of the Suited Kings podcast.